If you've been trying to stop drinking or moderate drinking and you've been involved in any Facebook groups or forums, then you'll probably see advice being given that if you're struggling or you're in early sobriety, then go ahead, have the cookies and the ice cream or the sugar or the whatever. Why do people do that? Well, ultimately, it's basically, I feel bad, I feel down, I'm experiencing a level of discomfort, and I want to drink to soothe my pain, my trauma, but I don't want to drink because I'm trying to stop drinking, so it's okay to have the ice cream and the cookies, etc. What does that do in the brain? Well, it does exactly the same thing as alcohol. It rewards our pleasure centres. What does that do in terms of forming addiction and patterns? Well, we're wired to repeat stuff that gives us pleasure. The human race would not exist if it weren't that way. We like sex. And it's the same with substances. So is it a really good idea if you're trying to move away from doing something that rewards your pleasure centres, like drinking alcohol, to just change the substance? And people might argue, well, sugar's not going to kill you. Well, isn't it? Type 2 diabetes might not kill you as quick, but it certainly really mess up your life. And furthermore, what another reason for not doing it is that you can heal the things that are causing you emotional distress. We can improve our mood, and a big part of one of the best ways to improve your mood is to regulate it. So what happens when you eat a tub of ice cream or a bag of cookies or a whole bag of these things? What happens to our blood sugar level? Well, it goes whew, and what happens after that? It goes. So what we do when we adopt the habit of eating comfort food when we feel down, when we're giving up alcohol, or have given it up in the past or recently, then what happens when we eat comfort food is our blood sugar level does this. And we call this the blood sugar roller coaster. So what happens when our blood sugar level crashes is our mood also crashes with it. So our mood is doing exactly the same pattern. So do you make better or worse decisions when you're feeling crappy? Or let me put that another way. Is it easier to make good decisions when you're feeling great or when you're feeling terrible? By eating the comfort food and getting that temporary relief, overall, we're actually making the task in hand of not drinking even more difficult. Which is why when I see people that should know better, like, experts, coaches, people, charging money for their services, it's such a red flag to me, because in my mind, I kind of think, well, if you are capable at helping somebody change an addiction and shutting an addiction down, why don't you do it for multiple addictions? Why is it you can only do it for one addiction and not another? I'd suggest that you don't really understand addiction. Encouraging somebody to take a different substance and create the same problems in the mind that we get from drinking, it's lunacy. It is beyond dumb. and that's not directed at anybody specifically. It's just directed at the bad advice and why that advice is bad. Really, really unnecessary. And the reason that it's unnecessary is that like before I've done, and this isn't about me. This isn't my ego speaking here. This is just an explanation as to what you can and can't do. Like the culture within the sobriety community is just eat rubbish if you're in early sobriety. It doesn't matter if you double your body weight. That's a sort of exaggeration, but you get the point. Well, when I have wanted to lose weight, I've done it by not drinking, intermittent fasting, regulating my blood sugar level, getting better sleep, improving my mood, stabilizing my mood. And you can do multiple goals at the same time. So, most people watching this will be trying to not drink. That's kind of a given. But you can get in the best shape of your life, lose a ton of body weight, look better. I don't really go by body weight. I think standing in front of a full-length mirror without your clothes on is a far better indication of health than weight. Muscle weighs more than fat, frankly. So you can do these big difficult goals. Like I didn't exercise for 20 years. 20 years after college. Well, at college and afterwards. For 20 years I did zero exercise. And I did the work on my mind just as I would if I was applying it to giving up alcohol and not drinking. I did the same exercises, but for exercise and getting into the gym. And it was instant. I became an overnight gym junkie because there was nothing in my head working against me. It was all driven towards one goal that was ingrained at a subconscious level. All parts of me are willing, ready and able to sign up to a gym and get really fit. And for the next 10 years to this present day, I still go to the gym. Maybe only about 4 or 5 times a week as opposed to 5 or 6 when I was in a hotter country. But I love it. It's just, when the gyms closed during lockdown, I found it incredibly difficult. And that's what we can do with our brain. We can like sort of have a situation where it really works against us and we think, oh, exercise, don't like that, don't like being out of breath, I never follow through with fitness programs, what's the point? And we can sort of go with that mindset forward for many, many years, if not decades, like myself. But we can change the mind in an instant. And that change can be profound in terms of how we behave in coming years, if not decades. I don't have particularly good willpower. In fact, I'd say I've probably got less willpower than a flea. But we don't use willpower. Willpower is 5% of the mind, only surface level thinking that does not last. If we want to change our behaviour, we change our subconscious by looking at what's in there that's holding us back, clearing it all out, getting rid of it, letting it go. So there's nothing to hold us back or hold us down anymore. And then we just install that little upgrade, which is our success-based belief goal. And it could be exercise, it could be not drinking, it could be losing 20 kilos in body weight in 3 months, which is what I did. I jumped on the scales and I was right on the money, 20 kilos down. And I only jumped on the scales because my shorts were falling off me in the gym, which is never a good look. And I'd already gone down 2 sizes. I was like, crikey, I must be pretty close to 20 kilos. I'm just, this fat is melting off me. And I jumped on the scales and I was 88 kilos down from 108. 20 kilos. And I didn't know what day it was because I wasn't really counting. I knew it was like into month 3, and I got the phone out, worked it out, and I was on day 77. We can do hard things. We can do other things when we're giving up alcohol that actually complement what we're doing with alcohol. You know, so if we're giving up drinking, regulating our blood sugar level through what we eat is a good idea. Losing that body weight, that fat that we've built up from problem drinking, really good idea. Changing our diet so that we change our pH level, because that's basically, well, put it this way, cancer cells can't exist in an alkaline environment. But also, we want to change our diet, because if we've been drinking a lot for a prolonged period, we're going to have a fatty liver, and we're going to need to reverse that. So, green smoothies for lunch, really good idea. And new exercise programs, going from doing 0 to knocking out 10k rows in 40 minutes. We can do that even when we're giving up drinking. And this whole ignore everything else as long as you're not drinking mindset is completely wrong, because it's based on a belief that giving up drinking is so hard we can't do any of our other goals or improve any other areas of our life at the same time, and that categorically is not true. And I'll be sharing more on this in the very near future, but if somebody is saying to you, eat like a pig, eat all the ice cream you want, eat junk food, comfort eat as much as you want in early sobriety, I would ask you whether they're really the right person for you in terms of being able to switch off your addictions in your mind, because it's a cop-out as far as I'm concerned. Surely if somebody was really skilled at being able to really change your behaviour and your mindset so that you didn't find things difficult, if somebody had that ability, why on earth would they be switching alcoholism for type 2 diabetes? It makes no sense to me. You can give up alcohol, you can get in the best shape of your life, you can have tons of energy, you can lose a bunch of weight, you can look better in front of a mirror without your shirt on or your blouse. I tend to prefer shirts. But you get the point, it's this belief that we can only give up alcohol and have to ignore all our other goals is just horse manure, frankly. It as you can probably gather, it rubs me up the wrong way, and there's not many things that rub me up the wrong way these days, but this bad advice is really bad advice. And you just, if your techniques for giving up alcohol work, why not apply them to other things? Just a thought. Anyway, if you have questions, pop them down below. I read all of them, and be interested to get your feedback. All right, take care out there. See you in the next video.